And speaking of celebrities, we have our Hollywood Happening segment today, of course. A story written over a century ago is now being brought back to life on the big screen.
Our entertainment reporter Jim Ferguson sat down with one of the stars.
Today, our Hollywood Happening looks at a literary classic far from the madding crowd. The film is based on Thomas Hardy's novel, which was published 140 years ago in 1874. Thomas Hardy would give the world one of the greatest heroines of all time, the spirited, independent Bathsheba Everdeen, played by Carey Mulligan.
From now on, you have a mistress, not a master. It is my intention to astonish you all.
Miss Everdene's here now, so you better do your best for...
Perhaps you can't lend a hand.
You don't think I would?
No, you wouldn't.
Would you agree with me that Thomas Hardy's 1874 classic, your character, Ms. Everdeen, is timeless?
Oh, completely. Yeah, that's what I was so struck by when I read the book, because I'd never read the book at school. I didn't know it. I knew a sort of vague idea of the story, but when I read it, that was what really struck me, that this was such a modern woman and so completely ahead of her time.
She'd be fit in today.
Yeah.
A rare independent woman for Victorian age. I had a feeling, and nobody else will, I don't think will ask you this question today. I bet she read Jane Austen's novels.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's so great about her. She is literate. She's very well educated.
She's educated, yeah.
She was a governess, but she was let go. She's definitely someone who's, and also she's self-educated. I think she's also someone who continues to sort of grow her education.
Mm-hmm. The men in her life were interesting, and I thought Michael and Matthias did a wonderful job. The way they pursued Everdeen, Miss Everdeen, I thought was extremely interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we're so lucky with all three of those characters that, first of all, they were so brilliantly cast, but they're all so distinct and so different to each other, and they really represent different aspects of her life and of her personality in a way. That one of them is friendship and love in Oak, and one of them is sort of lust and her first real romance, and then of course there's Boldwood, who's really represents all the sort of social convention of the time bearing down on her.
How much?
£5 a quarter.
Very well. Miss Bathsheba Everdeen, would you like to marry me?
Mr. Oak, I don't want a husband. If I ever were to marry, I'd want somebody to tame me, and you'd never be able to do it.
You know, the last film version was 1967, 48 years ago. I think this classic is ready to be seen again.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Yeah, I think great stories are always worthy of retelling, and I think if you have a fresh perspective on something, then, you never do the same thing twice the same way, but to do something new and to do something different with it is always welcome with these great stories.
It's so beautiful to look at, too.
It's stunning, yeah.
And Carey gets a chance to sing with Michael Sheen.
Yeah. Every Welsh woman's dream, actually, to sing with Michael Sheen. Yeah, it's a lovely scene, actually.
Did you do your own riding? Because you're on a horseback.
I do. I ride. No, I think you can safely say that I do ride, but if you can't see my face, then it's my wonderful stunt rider double called Emma, who is wonderful and an incredible rider.
But are you ready to come to Arizona and do a Western?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed the horse riding. It's difficult, but it's the first time I really felt confident and had fun on a horse.
And I'm sure you learned what hard work it is to run a farm.
Yeah, I think I had a tiny glimpse, and we actually were very lucky to spend lots of time with real farmers and real shepherds, and incredibly got to learn a lot from them. But yeah, it was great actually, all of that stuff, because it meant a real time of bonding for all of us as a cast. Getting stuck in and doing stuff with the sheep was a great way of us all getting to know each other.
Mr. Boldwood, it's Miss Everdeen, your neighbour.
Good hunting, Miss Everdeen.
He's rich, he's handsome.
Miss Everdeen, I want very much to have you as my wife.
I don't think I've ever seen a face as beautiful as yours. Meet me tomorrow.
Nobody would know.
should have nothing to do with it. Don't listen to him. Don't believe him.
Why? It is difficult for a woman to define her feelings in a language chiefly made by men to express theirs.
Well, in 1874, author Thomas Hardy created a love story for the ages with Far From the Madding Crowd. His novel has inspired many stage and film adaptations, but in my opinion, this version is the very best. Oscar-nominated Carey Mulligan was perfectly cast as Bathsheba Everdeen. The film has a beautiful Victorian look and was shot in Dorset County, England, where Hardy grew up. The genius of his writing, these characters are relevant today. It's rated PG-13, my grade a B+. Well, also opening today, the action-adventure Tomorrowland starring George Clooney. And this Friday, I'll have a special guest, Mr. George Clooney. And I'm going to see you right here next Tuesday on The Morning Blend.